Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Hook Better Leads podcast. And I am talking to Greg. I am not going to attempt your last name, sir. Can you say it?
Cadwallader.
That's not that hard. I should have just gone for it. From
So
Secured Roofing Restoration. We're talking about what does a roofing marketing manager do? And we're going to give some kind of workflow a little bit, what to look for, job description type stuff. We're going to talk through a lot of nuances of marketing manager in the roofing industry. You can check this if you're a marketing manager yourself, like, hey, I'm sanity check. Is this what I should be doing? And also we're going to talk about some mistakes that we've made. We've both been marketing managers before, and things that we might have done differently, etc., and how to get the most out of your time. So what are the skills, would you say? Let's say you're considering going working for a roofing company as a marketing manager or a marketing assistant. What are the skills that you would ideally have in that scenario for, let's say you were hiring a marketing manager today?
yeah, I mean, we've been through the interviewing process with a couple people and hired some and made some mistakes in there and kind of narrowed it down to where, roofing background does help, coming from a spot where you know about it. But really the big thing for us is that we're looking at these days is skill sets. A lot of people look at degrees and kind of where they came from, but more of the Photoshop and video editing and those types of things, because content's really driven with photos and videos, and that's really where you start to rank a little more. But a lot
Mhm.
of graphic design and those types of things, I think you're really the skill sets that can be taught are the Facebook ads and the analytics, but the graphic design is really where we need help in. That I found when I'm looking for hiring somebody is really what we're looking at.
So if you're a owner of a company and you're trying to hire somebody, like, do you need them to be kind of strategic, or do you just need them to be a doer? Let's say you're okay at posting on Facebook yourself. You've kind of been in this. Maybe you've done even some videos for yourself, but you're trying to hire this out. Like, do they need to be strategy brain, or can they be just a doer and you tell them what to do?
I think a combination of both. I think someone having some strategy in there is good to bounce ideas off, and have somebody that's willing to kind of take the lead on some ideas and give out ideas. I don't think you just want somebody that's just going to do stuff for you and do what I say. I think having that free thought and talk back and forth really brings out the best for both sides. Have an employee that gives that feedback to you, and those ideas really helps you work through things that you may kind of see stuff. The things that I tell people when we have them or hire them assistants, I say bring me three. So if we're going through a design or a logo or a piece of art or something, I said bring me three. So then they're giving their three ideas. We look at them and then we kind of mess with them and get the best one. So it's kind of somebody that can free think for themselves. You can kind of let them be. You don't have to micromanage them, and really takes the lead and is willing to be kind of put themselves out there.
I've had people working for me that required constant, like, this is what to do next, and that can be draining.
Yeah.
um so having having somebody that knows how to come, hey, if I've done these 5 things before and they got a result, if I don't currently have a big push on, let's say, a bunch of print stuff or whatever, and I have this extra time, I can come up with new stuff that's kind of like these 5 things that got a result. I think that that's really, really important, because you do not want to have somebody that always comes to you and says, what's next? What's next? What's next? It's funny. Sometimes the people that are like high achievers in one way can't figure out, like, self, like, coming up with their own stuff. I've had people that are very high achievers, they get a lot done, but then they're always asking you for something else. It's like, I need you to figure that. I need you to learn over time. Maybe it's not the first 3 months, but over time, I need you to learn how to do and come up with new things that are going to get a positive result. That's part of what I'm paying you for, you know?
Right.
Um, Okay. So do they need, you said they may not need to know Facebook ads and analytics when they start though.
Yeah, I mean
Talk to me
that's
about that.
yeah. So I hired a guy, and he's since moved on. He's working for a national TV show now. Um, but I brought him in, and we kind of talked back and forth, and he told me that he could do the Facebook ads and the analytics and Google and everything of the sort, which I was really needing, for him to do and kind of take that off my plate so I could be in meetings and kind of help grow and talk with owners and then implement things down. So he came in, he didn't know the ads like I thought he did. He kind of didn't know the things that he was talking about. So I let him go within 2 days because, as soon as you start tying people into all your, you know, back end analytics, all your CRMs, and you start making people involved, it's really hard to pull them out sometimes because you get them so
Hmm.
intertwined. So I had to make a quick decision, got rid of him. And then 2 weeks later, I called him back and I realized that I could teach him, but the video and the graphic design, I really couldn't. So that's kind of,
Mm.
that set that I've learned that it's not necessarily the ad part of it because, YouTube, you can watch a YouTube video, YouTube's your friend. You can pop on there, watch some of your podcasts, watch some of your videos, and I can learn a couple things and maybe put something in place for the time being to kind of patch it before I can have a call with you guys at Hook. Since you guys help me out, I can get on a call with you guys. You guys help me through it, but I could at least get something out in the meantime.
Mm.
So going through that side of the ads was, I thought, the focus, but really the graphic design and video side of it is really what you can't teach. That's learned by somebody, and that's
Mm.
really on somebody's time with their creative mind to see it and actually do it. And you can't teach that.
It's crazy how big of a asset that is. And I started in graphic design and everything. And I was just, it is kind of a commodity. Let's say you have 5 people that all do that. It's kind of, it kind of blends together, but if you can't, it's a big difference, and man, it's just funny how much, maybe it's just because have that background, but like when I see a candidate or a current employee that just gets that stuff and they're pretty solid, it's just very attractive.
Yeah.
Because I think like it just, well, it's kind of like they say, you eat with your eyes first. It's same with content. It's same with everything on the line, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Okay, so what are some common mistakes a roofing marketing manager might make?
Uh, Man, I think the biggest thing that we make mistakes on is just not tracking things well, not staying on top of the ads when we put it out there, having content that we may think it's hard to say these days. You got to be careful with what you put out there. The content you put
Yeah,
out. Everybody,
yeah,
everybody's so on the edge these days. And I started
yeah,
doing Fridays. I started putting out memes and just kind of funny posts and stuff like
yeah.
that. Being able to walk that line in the content you put out, but also
Mm,
making sure that your brand stays the same across everything that you put out. We
mm,
like to get creative with things, but you need to make sure your logo's staying the same,
yeah,
your license staying the same, and you really stay on point to your brand because people like
yeah,
to. We opened a couple branches. You put new managers in there, and they start messing with your logo on shirts and messing with things in print, and you got to make sure that that brand really stays the same because that's your identity as a company. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing, and then also not trying to chase something that's not working. Just because you have an idea that this should work, you have analytics to back you up saying it's not working. Stop chasing it. Stop throwing money down
yeah.
that hole that may not pan out.
I'll give one little example of that. I saw this guy at a trade show recently who had a giant camera gig. Do you have a nice camera gig? So I don't want to talk shit about this if you have a super nice camera gig.
We have a nice camera.
Rig. Okay. So, anyways, this guy though, he wasn't ranking for his city plus the service, and I challenged him on it. And he had this really nice camera set up, and he looked pretty mad at me for challenging him on it. I think like video can be, and I think that this is in particular for a lot of early companies can be a wild goose chase a little bit sometimes. I think it's good, but if you don't get the main things down, like brand, like website, like ranking, like getting traffic, then if you're just sitting there on video, the reason I say that, unless you're willing to invest in getting those videos out, Facebook doesn't give you a lot of organic reach anymore. And so it's kind of, it's just a lot. It's a lot to you need to, if you're going to do video, if you're going to go all in on video, I love video, but it's just like, you're going to need to spend money. And I've had a client where we were doing video for them for a while, maybe a year and a half. And they weren't promoting the videos on Facebook. They weren't putting any ad budget behind them. I almost coached them out of it, out of doing video anymore, because I just know I see it's like 70 views. I'm sorry, it's not enough. Even if you share it on your personal, it's just, so it's kind of trying to make sure that if you're going to do something, do it right, or don't do it. Like if you're going to spend money on video equipment, make sure you're spending money on Google or on Facebook promotion. You're promoting those videos to the right people.
No, and that was, with, the guy that we had previously. I haven't put out a lot of video content for that reason. He was very good at it.
Yeah.
I can slap something together,
Yeah.
but it's not going to look professional. So why am I going to put it out?
Yeah.
We still do use a lot of the videos, but it was a lot of video testimonials from customers. So
Yeah.
we'd actually go
That's
sit
good. Those stay good for a while. That's awesome.
So we'd go sit down with a homeowner and we just ask him questions. How was the build? How did things go? What didn't you like? What could have been better? And they, we'd kind of just talk them through it, edit it, and put these, 30 to 45-second videos out with testimonials, and they went really well. And some of them are a year old. I still use them, and I still put some spend behind them and put them out when I need to just kind of get a name out in that area. And that's worked, but you got to be careful with it too, because on the roofing side of it, not everything's perfect, but you got to be careful. The construction side of it's a construction site, so what you're filming, and not some names on buildings, homeowners, you don't want to give out their addresses and names, and just kind of, it's an active construction site, so just kind of be careful out on the jobs.
And competitors like to comment on Facebook videos all the time. I've noticed roofing guys love commenting on that shit. They're always like, "Oh, OSHA doesn't live around you. I see something that's not OSHA compliant," or something. You're like, "Geez, man, get a life."
Dude, and that's one of the things. Make sure everybody's tied in, make sure everything's compliant. It's one of those things too. We had it insurance reasons. An insurance company brought up a couple videos and posts that we had from like 2017. Just some snapped photos, and some of them were stock images, and they were questioning us about the stock images. And I'm like, they're stock images. And they're like, well, they're not tied down, and you're promoting that they're not tied down. And I'm like, they're literally stock images that are found on a website that was put in there from a prior company, and it was, so you still got to be careful what you're putting out there, because, you got to think of those insurance. So,
any wild goose chase marketing activities that don't move the needle, like anything that you feel that like kind of is attractive to do, but you found doesn't really necessarily create opportunities?
Facebook at times has given me problems. At one point I had our cost per lead, I had it under $10. I had it down to like $8 per lead, which is really good. And then kind of COVID came about, and it started jumping up. So I kept kind of messing with it. Why am I jumping up all of a sudden? And then it got up to like 30, 40. And it kind of kept going up. And then all of a sudden with Facebook, I started getting ghost leads. Like I'd get, 5 leads, and I'd give them out, and nobody knew, they didn't sign up for it. So they had no idea who we were, and how they got our information. And so I was like, okay. And I kind of, brushed it to the side. That's a bad batch, and ran some more ads. And all of a sudden I got it again. I got another sheet full of leads that people didn't know who we were. So I kind of paused Facebook there for a little bit, but and then I started chasing it again. And, it's kind of that thing again. If I'm somehow jumping into a spot with Facebook to where I don't know how it was happening. So I kind of took a pause
Hmm.
back before I spend any money more into that. But I think the biggest thing with, dumping money into somewhere that may not go is mailers too. You know,
Hmm.
uh, if you don't have a way to track, mailers, because that's a common way to get stuff out there too, is
Yeah.
uh, you can send thousands of mailers that aren't performing either. So
Yeah.
then it could just be a couple words are off. So you got to make sure that you're not just
Yeah.
dumping a bunch of money out there with mailers that aren't performing. So you really got to be able to track things, I think, to figure out where it works. But I think mailers is a way that you can dump some money into and kind of just go down
Yeah.
that rabbit hole with it.
Do you sometimes, I'm just curious for myself, do you sometimes feel like you're competing with outside vendors? I know you talked about like the idea of going after TV really hard or something like that. Like definitely some of these things end up being like a lot of money. We're expensive too. So like how do you kind of keep the right mindset as a marketing manager to be like, I need to do these heavy duty things, but I don't want it to affect my salary. How do you kind of balance that? And I appreciate you being generous with this. This is a very kind of an intimate question. So
Yeah. I mean, with a salary and the bonus structures and stuff like that, it's as long as I feel that I'm doing the best that I can, improving why I'm spending that money, because as a marketing manager, usually, getting a budget's one thing, but spending it wisely and proving that you're worth it. You're worth that money and that you're worth whatever you're asking for. You really got to prepare yourself to go fight for more money because a lot of owners, um, I've come across, and me, I've been my own, I've owned my own business as well, is why do I want to spend that money there? And when you get questioned in this feedback of, well, why do you need more money? We already gave you enough money. Well, this is performing really well over here. Well, we need to be on TV. We need to be here. Well, those bigger ticket items is good for brand awareness and stuff like that, but they don't really convert sometimes, so your conversion cost is
mhm.
really what you need to pay attention to when you're spending that type of money. And sometimes the TV ads are hard to track. And yeah, I do protect it a little
And
bit.
some of these old school methods like magazines and TV and so some of them like their salespeople and their system, it, like even House. I saw a guy spend 25K on House
Yeah.
ads, like, and they gave him one video and like supposedly he was a featured listing, got 0 leads, 25K. Like they don't give a shit about like pissing your money down the drain. So it's kind of like you got to watch it with bigger like, and I'm being that like watch out for corporations guy, but there is a little bit of that. You got to watch because they don't care. They'll take
Well,
your money and just piss it. Like that's real.
so you're talking about House. Yeah, they've called me a bunch, and I don't
Yeah.
do business with them. I don't do anything in print,
Yeah.
really. If I'm going to do anything in print, it's something that I'm mailing and direct mailing myself.
Yeah.
We do have a big retirement center around here, the Villages, which is a massive area. So we do advertise in some of their print just because they do read it, and
Mm.
that graphic still
I
reads
like
those.
when it gets very specific. I
Right.
like I do and I do appreciate that. But just the other side of print is like Glamour Print.
Yeah.
Like there'll be like a
We're exclusive to them.
even yeah. Like they're trying to make you feel ego in regards to the print. And I just watch out for that kind of stuff because that it can be a low converting endeavor. Like just watch doing marketing activities. I probably need to watch this too sometimes for ego because sometimes that's something that's attractive to business owners sometimes is like, oh, we need that giant billboard because it makes me feel cool on the way into the city or whatever.
We looked at billboards, but back to the companies, i- if you're paying attention to what's really happening and as far as the home improvement category goes for, like you said, house, well, now home advisor, is Angie's list. So now Angie is Angie,
Yeah.
and then home advisor is Angie leads. So home
Yeah.
advisor is now Angie's list. So they've joined. Angie's has actually bought some roofing companies. So now they
Hmm.
actually own some roofing companies. They may not say are preferred partners or what they call it, but they or with one of my buddies, another competitive, one of our competitors here, they now are running his roofing company. So at what
Hmm.
point do those leads actually filter to me? Are they going to them first? And if they don't convert them, are they selling me those leads? And a lot of those things with those types of things, um, you're putting reviews on their websites. So I don't control those
Yeah.
reviews. I don't control those pages.
Yeah.
So if anything happens to where I have to stop spending money on those websites, then I lose, my page with all my leads on it. So my ratings.
Yeah.
So I'd rather drive the ratings to Google or to Facebook and to pages that I control.
For a marketing manager in the roofing business, what does an average day or week look like?
Yeah. So like I said, it's kind of changes minute by minute as people walk into your office. But um,
Yeah.
no, I mean, you try to plan the best you can. Usually what I do is I first come in, I'm pulling up whatever ads I have going out, checking the analytics on it, seeing how it's performing. If it's not performing well, I may, kill it and then start afresh and change the words around. Or if something's performing a little better in one of my ads, because I usually try to run multiple at a time to see what's performing, what's not performing. Um,
Hmm.
and that's the first thing I check, and then change those around. Look at any print, any material. Or I constantly have different contracts that we have to change out, because when you're thinking of a marketing person, it's also handling most documents that come into the office as well.
Mm. Yeah.
uh, get organized, upload into our CRM, make sure the documents have our logo on it, all the correct information, and they can change all the time. Our documents change just because on laws, or some little different wording that an attorney didn't like that we need to put in there. And so it's just a lot of meetings and a lot of trying to explain yourself, why you're spending that money, getting the leads out. I'm in charge of, when the leads come in, I got to hand them out. So um,
Hmm.
just making sure everything's out to the right people, and tracking everything, tracking the lead conversions as well. Because if they're not converting, then why aren't they converting? Am I getting good leads? Am I getting bad leads? Am I giving them to the right sales guys? Am I giving them to the wrong sales guys?
Hmm.
So there's a lot of tracking on that side as well to make sure that the leads that you get are quality and they are converting.
Awesome. Well, Greg, you sound like a badass at this, by the way. So if we were looking to attract a roofing marketing manager like yourself, um, what would you put out for a job description? What would you, if you were trying to find somebody that was that you'd want to work for you, what would you put in the job description to attract that person?
Yeah, it's funny. They tell me, what do you want your job title to be? I was like, I don't care. This is what you're going to pay me. So, it's kind of one of those things where if I'm putting an ad out, I put one out recently, and it's again, it's somebody. People don't understand either that Facebook, Instagram, and all those things are great. But when you're applying for a job, people can see all that stuff too. And I know people check on me when, I've applied for jobs in the past. So careful what you kind of put out there. But also, when I look for somebody, I'm looking for somebody that's well spoken, that, I get along with, that comes in and can really just kind of present themselves well, and you can kind of tell that when you get that feedback when you interview somebody, um, that they're going to be able to carry a conversation, are respectable, can look you in the eye, carry the conversation. And like you said at the beginning of this, where you don't have to pull them, where they're always coming to you, what's next, what's next, what's next, where they're telling me what they can do and they're telling me what they're going to do. When I come in, I'm going to do this, I can do this, and have that kind of belief in themselves. But again, on paper, when I first look at it, when I'm putting that ad out, I am looking for ad design, video design, and more of those types of things now. And then I can help with the analytics side if they don't have that experience.
Yeah,
um,
can learn analytics, can learn Facebook
right.
ads, etc. So maybe they have a couple of these skill sets, but then like, are you the type of person that learns quickly and is
Right.
productive, basically?
Yeah, you want someone that's definitely teachable and doesn't, it's one of those things that I've carried throughout, my careers and whatever businesses I've had. I've very diverse background in all sorts of things, and just kind of end up in a management position because I'm able to, kind of juggle things a lot and keep an open mind. And I think that's a lot of the things that, you get somebody that comes in and they think they already know everything. It's hard to work with somebody like that. And it's hard to teach somebody because they already think they know everything. And come into an interview and think that you don't know everything. The minute to me when I think that I have learned everything and I know everything, I'm failing myself because I know there's room to grow and I know there's things I don't know and that I should know and keep learning. So I think having somebody that can come in with an open mind and just not think that they know everything, which is tough these days, especially with the younger generation. Um, you know,
And the job market being good kind of puts it in a little bit of a squeeze, like where it's like, can I get by without this, like without this person being humble? It's
yeah,
hard. You kind of need humility to learn.
yep. And that's the only way they're going to do it. So just someone that's willing to learn and just always know that you don't know everything. I mean, I'm sure you're figuring stuff out new every day and that, you always
Mhm.
want to do what's best for your clients and make sure you're giving out the best information.
Greg, thank you so much for chatting. We're going to actually put together an ideal marketing manager job description and put it in the description of this video and on the blog post that we're going to embed this video into. So check that out. Um, Greg, I know that it might not be your audience for what you guys are trying to do, but would you like to just share your guys' website?
Sure. You can reach us at www.securedroofingandrestoration.com. You guys built the website, looks great, really helped us out with that and maintain it. So if you're interested in checking out any work that they've done, you can go visit us there. They're constantly helping us with the SEO. We're putting some more design into it right now, actually, in the background that you guys are finishing helping us build out. And we're growing that page out. So go in there, check it out. Location pages you guys have helped with, see the blog content that they write for us, and just check us out. But we appreciate the work you guys do for us as well.
Thank you so much, man. And this has been the Hook Better Leads podcast, hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social. Thank you for listening and watching. Bye.